Hi, dear friend, and welcome. Welcome to a moment of reflection. Welcome to a moment that we dedicate to reflect on things that have happened. And in my case, I share them. I'm very excited because I was called to do this a little bit different. I feel that since I started, or I decided, or it was a calling, and I heard the calling to start this YouTube channel, I have to show up authentically, which I knew, but I have to also be honest and tell you the truth about what happened yesterday, and that is the reflection for today. Yesterday, I was getting too much in my head. I got too much in my head about this whole thing, and too much about how does it work. And it's not a bad thing because it's important to learn, but I got so much into the details of analytics and performance and I don't know, I guess likes and views and this and that I got so much in my head about it that I completely disconnected from what I'm supposed to do, right? It's like I completely lost track of why I started this in the first place. So I went down a spiral and I completely disconnected from my body. I also started having very toxic thoughts about myself, such as I'm running out of time, I'm not doing anything with my life, I'm just being unrealistic, I just wanted results right away. And I wasn't giving myself the grace to just enjoy the process of this whole thing. Like I just started and I'm already impatient. So the day went by and I said, and then I started getting anxious because I am to do this. I got to the point where I'm recording a video every day, a sound session every day, and that I was feeling, I didn't want to do it because I wasn't in the right space in my head, and I don't want to ruin something so sacred and precious, which is my sound healing, because I am going to bring out this energy that of judgment and criticism about myself. It took me the whole day, but I also knew that the sounds really calm me, that when I enter into that space, I calm myself. The sounds calm me, the frequencies, the vibrations, I feel them in my body. And that was good because it was almost as if I was also going to check a box, which I totally say don't do things like that, but I was experiencing it myself. And I said, okay, I will do a sound session and I will record it. I will record it for YouTube, but also I needed it for myself. I really needed to calm myself and calm my thoughts and quiet the mind. So I did the setup and I started to play. Something happened in between the setup and before I started recording where I had to pause. Something happened and I couldn't record right away, and I noticed that I was gonna get anxious again about like, I'm not doing it right, this is not the right timing, why am I being delayed right now? And I was like, again, be patient, be quiet, go to your room or take the time. It's okay, you'll do it when it's the time. I said, okay, so I relaxed. Finally, the time came where I was able to start playing the bowls, and I did the chakra balancing one. And I started feeling calmer. When I started with the root chakra, I felt it in my body, and I felt my energy coming back to my body. And then I went on to the other chakras until I finished, and I got the message very clearly, which was to disconnect from the phone, because what had happened, it was that I was on the phone the entire day. I couldn't get myself off of it. I couldn't stop. It was almost as if I was taken by that energy of watching others and trying to learn, but I overwhelmed myself. And it's not about others. It's about me. It's about what I am bringing, not really comparing myself to anything or anyone, because it is not a fair competition, if you will. It's not a competition, but at the same time, it wouldn't even be fair to compare myself to anyone. I don't know anyone that I can compare myself to, and I'm good. I don't want to compare myself to anybody. Anyways, I finished the session and I went and I said, it's time to disconnect from the phone. And I did. I turned it off. I said, I'm going to bed early. It was around 8 p.m. And I did. I disconnected the phone, put it on airplane mode. Done with that, I grabbed a book that I'm rereading, which is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I finished it yesterday. I had already started reading it a few days ago. And I finished it yesterday, and I was already calmed. The mind had already quieted because of the sound healing, and I went on. So this morning I wake up, and I did my meditation in the morning, and then I started getting messages, clear messages about what had happened yesterday in the space that I was in. Because I didn't say this before, but yesterday I also felt that I said, where is God? Like, I'm lost here, and I don't think he hears me. Well, the message this morning was very clear, and he said, or she said, I've always been here. I'm here, I have always been, and I will always be. But you kept distracting yourself. You kept looking for things instead of just pausing, taking the moment for you. You kept going around and on your phone and on your phone and you couldn't even disconnect from that. How are you going to hear me if you have your mind so busy? And I said, oh my God, yeah. Like, wow. It was very clear to me that it's not that it was my fault, because another thing, you don't want to blame yourself. Even though I have like my tools and I have this awareness and I have all these things, the point is that we become aware of those things without blaming or judging yourself for it. It's not about saying, oh, I should have known better. If I have learned all these things, why do I keep acting this way? No. There's no need for all of that. It's about recognizing that you are a human being. That you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and with that comes the human part of it. Mistakes, things that happen that we do. But it's always important to come back. It's always important to recognize those things and come back to your center. And that's exactly what happened to me. So God has always been there with us. He has always been, but we keep distracting ourselves, and that's why we move away from the stillness. That's why we move away from the message. That's why we move away from the truth. So because of that experience that I had yesterday, I tapped into something, into a knowing, which was everything that you do, everything that we do in life, when it comes from your heart, when you do things from a place of love, you are really not going to be hurt by anything if you don't receive anything in return, I mean. For instance, yesterday, with all these things about the likes and the views and all this, I felt I was going towards mainly what works for YouTube or what works, what do I do, or how can I do it? And again, I said I completely disconnected from the reason I started it. It was to be myself. Having understood that, that's the transactional part of it, right? Okay, I give you this for views, or I show this for likes. When at the end of the day, that's not my concern. I'm here to show myself and the things that I do because I like, because it's natural to me, because it's in my heart, and I just want to give it without expecting anything in return. So that's the thing. When you do things from your heart, you're not waiting or expecting to receive anything in return. And this is, and I'm just giving this explanation or this example because of YouTube, because this is something I just started, but this goes in general in life. When you give your time, your attention, when you give anything, you don't give it because you're expecting the other person to give you anything in return. You do it because you have it in you, because it comes from your heart, because you're abundant. Whether that's love, whether that is the time and attention. And those are the things that really you don't put any value on. Your love, your time, your energy, your attention. No amount of money could ever possibly pay for anybody's love, attention, energy. Those things are priceless. And sometimes we forget. We forget because we get in the mind and we are always expecting. But that comes from our need. That comes from our need of being seen, wanted, loved. But then it brings me back to connect to the stillness and the silence, and you will feel the unconditional love that you already are. This is a complex topic, but I'm sure a lot of you will connect with it, because when we are in this journey, we understand this part of it. And even when you're starting a new life, especially when you're starting a new life, when you feel like the old you, it's going away, and then there's you're birthing a new version of yourself, and this is what's coming up. So you have this combination or this integration of a part that's going and a new part that's coming up or birthing. So you can see both. You can see both parts. One is dissolving and perhaps taking the qualities from before and integrating them into this new piece of art that is yourself. So this is me and my reflections. I like to talk like this. I like to see life from a different angle, from very, very like poetic and deep, and just see more than the illusion. I was caught up in the illusion yesterday. I was caught up in the what can the world give me, that I disconnected from what can I give to the world. It's not about what the world or anybody's going to give me, but what can I bring? That is more important. Focus on what you can do versus what can I get. Yes, that's it. And I wrote a few things. Be patient with yourself, because some days you are going to have those days like I had yesterday. I felt like it was my inner child too. I wasn't okay with anything that was given to me. I was, again, because I am in this journey and I have the tools, I also felt that I knew what I needed to do to come back to my center. But nothing was working out. And the reason why, the meditation, nothing was really getting me out of that anxiousness. And I think the reason being is because I never put the phone away. I always had it with me. If I would have just put the phone away, it would have sat, and maybe it would have worked. I don't know. Energies are energies, and every day is different. Again, you have to be patient. So be patient with yourself. Never judge yourself for making a mistake. Mistakes are bound to happen. Mistakes are part of life. That's how we learn. And never get to the point where you feel that you have learned so much that you know it all. I don't think we will ever know it all. Every day is a new day. We're discovering something different. And humility is what really is going to get us there. Knowing that the more we learn, the more we understand and recognize that we don't know anything. Because there's so much to learn. And that's the adventure. So have grace and be patient. Love yourself unconditionally. So that way you don't have to go out into the world with, I give you this if you give me that. And that usually is love that we are looking for. We want to feel it, that unconditional love. So we always go, okay, and especially in relationships, if you're not tapped into that, if you don't love yourself, that I find it very hard for you to love anybody else unconditionally. It starts with you. It always starts with us. It always starts with us. Self-respect, self-love, that starts here. If you don't love yourself, how can you will only love people up to where you love yourself. You will always show up. What do they say? You meet people as far as you have met yourself. And it's always going to be a transactional exchange. It's always going to be, I love you as long as, or I love you if you, whatever requirement you may have. So what is unconditional love? Unconditional love is accepting yourself fully as you are, with your mistakes, with the things that you do, with everything. And understanding that life has a lot of temptations, a lot. And where you go, wherever new adventure you start, there's going to be a temptation. You will always be tempted. You will always be tempted. And that's why I say, God, please guide me. Use me as your instrument. Because a lot of the times, I don't know what I'm doing. But I know that with your love, with your presence in my life, I know I am on the right path. I am your child. And sometimes I need your guidance to walk. May I hold your hand, please? May you walk with me so that way I know. Because temptations are temptations. And I don't need them. Because if I always remind myself that I come from a place of love, from my heart, I don't need anybody. I don't need, and don't get me wrong when I say I don't need anybody, because we are social beings and we need the support of others, not because you don't have it for yourself, but because we know that together we are stronger, because that's how a community works. Your love is not to be kept for you. Your love is to be spread out to others. And we are in like a training camp, a loving training camp, where we support one another, where we say the beautiful things. And if we are to say things that to help another one evolve, we don't say it in a mean way to hurt them. But we also take things in life through the lens that we perceive this life with. Sometimes someone is not saying something to hurt you, but you take it that way. And if you do, then reflection time comes in. It's time for us to reflect and go back and see, oh, why is that hurting me so much? So go back to your center. And the way you go back to your center is by taking the time. Stillness, meditation. I had never meditated before. I guess my meditation was always moving and a dancing meditation, which is great, but I see the importance of staying still, which can be very, very challenging and hard. And that what sound healing for me allows me to do because of the frequencies calms my body. Let's take this opportunity to take in the sound. I have the third eye chakra singing bowl, and I invite you to close your eyes. Let's close our eyes and let's tap into the frequency of the singing bowl. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Breathe in. Let go. You are safe. You are protected. I pray that you always have clarity. I pray that you can always see through the illusion. That you can always connect to the truth. I trust my intuition. I know that I am divinely guided. I know that I am here to experience life fully from a place of love, because I am unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste.